This video brings an urgent message that Jesus specifically wants you to hear about shocking news that's directly connected to your life. He has been trying to show you this divine link, but he's concerned you might miss how current events are tied to your spiritual destiny. This isn't just another spiritual video about world events. It contains a revelation that explains why certain shocking news stories have been catching your attention lately. Jesus cares so deeply about your understanding that he would be disappointed if you dismiss this critical connection without seeing its importance. The message you're about to receive has been carefully arranged to reach you. During these exact world events, there's a divine appointment happening right now as you watch. Don't scroll away, because what you're about to learn will change how you see every piece of shocking news from now on. This isn't an ordinary spiritual message about current events. It's a divine alert about shocking news that represents a critical turning point in your walk with Christ during these end times. Jesus has been watching your reaction to world events with loving attention, noticing both your spiritual questions and your growing concerns. Missing this particular connection could mean overlooking a special revelation that's been prepared just for you during this prophetic season. This divine link marks a limited time spiritual window that's opening in your life right now as these shocking events unfold around us. Jesus cares so deeply about your prophetic understanding that he would be genuinely concerned if you failed to recognize this opportunity. That's why this message found you today during these specific world events. Your attention to this video isn't by chance. It's a divinely orchestrated moment designed to help you see the spiritual connection between shocking news and your personal journey that you might have been missing. Every time you've watched shocking news and wondered what God was doing in the world has been heard. Every confused thought about why certain events keep happening has been noticed. All the times you've questioned if current events had spiritual meaning, yet continued to seek understanding anyway, have been honored that your spiritual confusion about world events hasn't gone unnoticed. Those moments when others seemed to understand God's plan, while you felt lost in the chaos of shocking news, Jesus saw your frustration. The times when your faith in divine control felt shaken by world events, yet you kept praying anyway. That persistence was recognized in heaven. The effort it took to keep believing in God's plan when shocking news suggested the world was falling apart has been deeply valued. The questions you've carried about current events, sometimes too heavy to discuss with others, have all been acknowledged. God's timing isn't always clear, and divine connections to world events aren't always obvious. The divine connection Jesus wants you to recognize appears between shocking news events and personal moments in your life, but is often overlooked because it seems too coincidental to be divine communication. This connection shows up in timing patterns, where world events perfectly match your personal spiritual seasons and prayers. It appears in shocking news that directly relates to things you've been praying about privately for months. It emerges in the way certain news stories grab your attention while others don't, and in how world events seem to mirror your spiritual journey. This connection is uniquely meaningful to your specific walk with Christ, something Jesus has personally designed to grab your attention during these prophetic times. It connects directly to the prayers you've been praying about world conditions and the spiritual questions you've been asking about end times. Jesus chose this particular connection because it speaks to your heart in a language only someone on your spiritual level would fully understand. When you recognize this divine connection between shocking news and your spiritual journey, many puzzling aspects of current world events will suddenly make perfect sense. Confusing global situations, seemingly random tragic events, and spiritual questions about God's timing will all connect in a beautiful moment of prophetic clarity. Jesus has wonderful news for you today. Your spiritual discernment about world events is shifting to a higher level. An important prophetic understanding is becoming available to you now. The divine has noticed something unique about your spiritual sensitivity during these chaotic times. And now you've been chosen to receive this special revelation. This moment marks something significant in your prophetic walk with Christ. It's a clear indication that your spiritual sensitivity to end-time events is growing stronger every day. Something incredibly meaningful is unfolding in your relationship with Jesus. Regarding current events, far deeper prophetic understanding than you might have imagined possible. The recognition of this connection begins a spiritual awakening about God's end-time plan. There's a wave of heavenly attention surrounding your spiritual understanding right now. You're becoming more spiritually attuned to prophetic signs, naturally drawing divine revelation about current events into your daily experience. Recognizing this connection between shocking news and your journey brings heightened awareness of Jesus' timing. In even the smallest world events, more spiritual insights about God's end-time plan will begin flowing to you than ever before. This isn't happening by chance. It's a carefully arranged blessing designed specifically for this prophetic season we're living through. Your prayers about world conditions matter more than you realize. Your spiritual sensitivity to current events inspires heaven to reveal deeper truths. Your faith during chaotic times makes a difference in the spiritual atmosphere around you. This divine connection shows that Jesus deeply values your role as someone who seeks prophetic understanding. Each time you've looked for God's hand in shocking news has developed your ability to receive this revelation now. That the timing of this revelation is no coincidence. It comes now because these specific world events have prepared you spiritually to recognize and respond to this connection. This precise moment has been divinely chosen because you've grown in prophetic discernment. Through watching current events unfold, your spiritual eyes are now open enough to see divine patterns that might have been invisible to you before. Your heart has expanded through witnessing world chaos. Your prophetic wisdom has deepened through watching shocking news with spiritual eyes. Your soul is now prepared to receive this divine understanding more clearly than ever before. All the confusing world events you've witnessed have been preparation for recognizing this connection. Nothing in your journey of watching current events has been wasted. Every shocking news story has shaped your ability to recognize God's timing when it's revealed. This particular connection is part of larger spiritual movements happening globally right now as we approach prophetic fulfillment. If you're feeling blessed by this prophetic revelation about shocking news, please consider sending a super thanks of $5, $10, $20, or more to support our channel's mission of sharing these important end-time insights. Your generosity helps these divine revelations about current events reach those who desperately need prophetic understanding. When you give, you participate in a sacred exchange that allows us to continue revealing how shocking news connects to God's plan during these critical prophetic times. As you begin to recognize this divine connection between shocking news and your spiritual journey, new prophetic awareness will naturally develop in your life. This clearer vision brings new responsibilities, not just to yourself, but to everyone God places in your path who might be missing the same connection to current events. Don't view these responsibilities as burdens, but as sacred opportunities to participate in Jesus' end-time work. This revelation signals it's time to step into prophetic maturity and help others navigate this chaotic world with heavenly wisdom and divine understanding. Finding balance becomes essential during these spiritually charged times. While celebrating this new prophetic awareness, remember to nurture your practical faith through prayer, scripture, and community. These spiritual disciplines have shaped who you are and will continue to support you as you grow into this expanded role. Someone who recognizes divine connections in shocking news and helps others see God's hand in world events. As you become sensitive to this divine connection in shocking news, Think about how you can help others who are still missing God's hand in current events. Your experience shows that Jesus is constantly communicating through world events. Even when we fail to notice the spiritual significance, heaven witnesses every moment of prophetic awakening, every recognition of divine patterns in shocking news, and every choice to look for God's plan in world chaos. Your story of recognizing this connection brings hope to people feeling overwhelmed by current events or wondering if God is still in control. Your awareness becomes a light that helps others develop eyes to see what Jesus is revealing through shocking news all around them. This connection isn't meant to be private prophetic knowledge. It's an invitation to help others experience the same spiritual clarity about current events. Jesus often works through those who recognize His timing to help awaken others still missing. His voice in world events as you navigate this new level of prophetic sight regarding shocking news. Stay consistently alert to divine patterns. Jesus reminds you that while recognizing one connection is wonderful, it's just the beginning of a lifetime of understanding God's timing through world events. Maintain the spiritual sensitivity that allowed you to see this divine link in current events in the first place. Guard against returning to spiritual dullness that made you miss important prophetic signs in shocking news before. Let your prophetic awareness continue to flow from genuine faith and daily attention to Jesus' presence in world events. With this new ability to recognize divine connections comes ongoing responsibility to remain spiritually vigilant. Use this gift wisely to discern true divine communication from fear-based reactions to shocking news. Not every world event carries personal spiritual significance, but Jesus will make truly important connections unmistakable. Embrace this journey with both humility and confidence, showing others that recognizing God's hand in shocking news comes from staying spiritually connected. Picture a future where you consistently recognize Jesus' hand in every piece of shocking news that unfolds around the world. Imagine divine clarity about your role during significant global events. Prophetic understanding arriving precisely when world chaos peaks, and your comprehension of heavenly timing expanding beyond anything you've experienced before. Jesus stands with you, encouraging you to embrace this journey of prophetic sight with complete trust. This is truly your moment to experience deeper divine connection through understanding how shocking news relates to God's end-time plan. This marks the beginning of a time when your prophetic perception, wisdom, and heart will be more aligned with heaven than ever before. Accept this blessing with gratitude, and remember that you're surrounded by divine support on this journey of prophetic awakening. The path ahead holds countless opportunities to experience Jesus' guidance through world events that will become increasingly clear to your spiritually attuned eyes. What joy awaits as you learn to read God's prophetic language in shocking news. If this prophetic message has awakened something in your spirit about shocking news, please consider blessing our channel with a super thanks of $5, $10, $20, or whatever amount feels right to you. Your support creates a beautiful spiritual exchange and allows us to continue sharing these divine revelations about current events with those who need them most. If you're ready to acknowledge that you're seeing divine connections in shocking news, type 999 in the comments below as your declaration of prophetic awareness. The journey of recognizing divine connections in shocking news continues beyond this revelation. As you step into new prophetic awareness about current events, stay grounded in Scripture and prayer that keeps your discernment sharp and accurate about God's timing. Every divine connection you recognize in world events could be the exact confirmation someone else has been waiting to see. Your growing spiritual sensitivity to shocking news serves as inspiration for others wondering if God still speaks through current events today. Move forward with an attentive heart, a watchful mind, and a responsive spirit ready to see Jesus' hand in every major world development. Create opportunities for others to recognize divine patterns in shocking news as you. Enjoy the prophetic clarity coming your way. The spiritual language of signs and current events has always been part of how Jesus communicates with those who love Him. During prophetic times, by choosing to pay attention to divine connections and shocking news, you join a long tradition of faithful believers who have learned to recognize His voice in world events.